what else would we have expected? Then after a season like that, we deserve a series like this.
And I'll tell you what, I've been banging on about home court advantage not mattering for 2 years, and here we are. Neither of these teams have been able to win at home.
So it'll be interesting to see how they look on Friday, because it's going to take 100% from Derek Walton Jr. It's going to take 100% from the MVP, Xavier Cooks, and everybody else to beat this New Zealand Breakers team. They're there for a reason. Make no mistake.
Absolutely.
And they played their worst. That was their worst performance. They couldn't figure out the zone. How to beat a zone? They were righting their wrongs. Now it's a best-of-3 series. I'm still sticking with New Zealand.
We can talk Cooks and Walton Jr. and Barry Brown as much as we want. For me, Will McDowell-White is the key to this series. And so what Simon is doing and that team with the coverages and the like is the key. And the difference between Will McDowell-White from game 1 to game 2, I think, was the key difference. And Simon was the guy that was the key factor here.
There's the numbers, Will McDowell-White, who we made a big, not just us, but everyone made a huge point of talking about going into game 1, and he was dominant. He did whatever he wanted in the 4 quarters in Sydney on Friday night. Game 2, coincidentally, a lot of it around Justin Simon. I ask you this, Homicide, I have a slight concern, and Will McDowell-White's probably the guy that has to lead this. New Zealand's ability in first quarters in massive games. Now, against Tasmania, they got away with it, right? Game 3, they're rolling on in. They got belted in game 2. Tassie came ready to play. Brown Jr. came off the bench and changed the game. They end up getting into the championship series and winning that game. Now, Sydney are better than Tassie. That's quite obvious and has been for a little while. The very fact is you can't have slow starts on your home floor to dig yourself out of holes when you've got a championship at the reckoning. And that's what happened again on Sunday. They can't come out sluggish at home on Sunday in front of their adoring crowd.
They won't. It's just one game.
It's not. It's 2 games now. It happened against Tassie as well.
It's 1-1.
Okay. I don't disagree with that point.
All they got to do is, if Justin Simon is defending Will McDowell-White in Game 3 when they start, which he will, right? Because they were successful doing that. Don't bring the ball up. Give it to somebody else, Liapa, whoever. Get it on the second side of the offense and go from there. That ain't hard to do. It is hard for a guy like, whoever he's guarding. That's like Rupe when he's defending you, bringing the ball up. You gonna bring the ball up on him? No. Give it to the off guard. Meet you down there. That was dope about the Lakers with the triangle offense. Anybody could initiate the offense when there's a tough unball defender on your premier guard. Here, bring it up. Catch on the other side. Now let's work. That's what you do. They will adjust. They're gonna watch film just like Sydney did. Like, look at how bad we were. Throwing the ball out of bounds, not even catching the ball. These were preseason type of turnovers they were having. Right in your wrongs, watch the film, let's be better. You think you're going to see that team? You think you're going to see that team on Friday? Did we all think we were going to see the Sydney Kings team that we saw Friday on Sunday? Chess, Game 3. We're going to adjust and we're going to be better.
So let's talk more about those adjustments, right? So Halls has said on NBL today, maybe they should look at bringing Barry Brown Jr., starting him, so that make it tough on Justin Simon. Who do you guard? Maybe that frees up Will McDowell-White. I think they might look at that potentially with Isaiah Liafa and bring Repair off the bench. Or bring Tom Abercrombie off the bench and just add another ball handler into that mix, but more with Liafa, I think, maybe. Keep Brown Jr. off the bench, we'll see. But the adjustments from the Kings into Game 2, I was fascinated to watch because, as you said in the lead up to the series, if they defend the pick and roll with the drop coverage against McDowell-White, they'll lose. And it played out that way in Game 1. Coming into Game 2, they go, no. Justin, with you, we're not changing that. You just need to crawl into the ball. To use that coverage effectively, there needs to be pressure on the ball. You need to make it harder for him. Be impactful in that way. Make yourself harder to screen. So they didn't change that coverage with Simon. With Galloway, who's the other primary defender on McDowell-White, they did. They said, hey, you slip under. We'll see if he wants to knock down threes against your length. So because they didn't change the actual coverage with McDowell-White, now the onus is on the Breakers, I think, to say, all right, how do we find other ways to try to get Will in those advantageous situations to make reads and make plays.
Who wins the series from here?
Breakers.
Breakers.